we have already gone partially through the Cascade Range, and I just want to impress upon you guys how much more dry it is now that we've gone through one of these 4,000 foot passes, right? So everything that's here just isn't getting any moisture from the ocean side at all. It hasn't rained here in hundreds of days. So you can see that the slopes that had fires in past years, not much at all has come back. You know, when the rains do come back, I worry a lot about slides and mud falls and all kinds of secondary effects from all this dryness, you know? Right, look at that whole mountaintop. It just, like, doesn't have green holding it down. It hasn't had green holding it down for months and months and months. So when the rain does come, all that soil is just going to come right off down into the river. So we are parked on the side of the highway here, right next to Blue Star Growers. We're now over on the eastern side of Washington State, and you can really tell that we're in a different spot completely, because it is absolutely dry here. It looks like California, but yeah, the amount of water that this side of the state gets is small compared to the side that's between the ocean and the Cascades. So what you're looking at here, all of those boxes right there, each one of them is meant to be picked up by a forklift. They hold about 1,000 pounds of apples. And that looks like kind of, I can't even count how many that is, but it's a lot. Rough estimate, let's say that those stacks at the back are 10 by 10, so 100 crates or what are kind of facing us there, and then those stacks look like, counting on the left here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so if that's 22 stacks deep, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 800 of them to a face, 20 rows deep. So yeah, that's 1,600 apple holding crates. 16,000 apple holding crates. So each one of those holds half a ton of apples. And then it looks like there's another whole entire yard over on the other side there. So there's 32,000 tons of apples, and that's what Blue Star Agricultural Cooperative here is going to be moving this season. Oh, what a treat. There's a container train happening in the background here, going up the pass. So these bushel, or not bushel, but 1,000-pound apple crates are stacked outside of the field. I think they're stacked outside of the field off to the left here, which is the one that's going to get picked. They're probably not stacked for the field of dead trees there. It looks like those trees failed and have been uprooted. And I guess they'll get replanted with new ones another year. And then looking back, sorry for the glare, it is way hot here. You can see many apple fields off into the distance. Hey, that train had distributed power, a remotely operated middle of the train engine in order to take some of the weight off of the front engines. Also, I just noticed it looked like the, oh, yeah, it looks like there's some kind of multi-generational luncheon happening down at that house. Little grandbaby's getting thrown. Very good. Well, I'm gonna keep driving. So what we were just up on, that was the big flat area that was under agricultural management, was a lot of valleys that were kind of buried by a big flat glacier dragging sand and gravel across them, which it did. Oh, this guy's overtaking me. Here we go. And what we're coming down into now is what was Lake Missoula. Those glaciers held back an absolutely massive lake, which stretches, it's this deep part here, and then it stretches all the way out to the horizon. And if you can imagine that this part next to the road here was totally covered in a wall of ice, that the level of the lake could stretch way far back over the horizon with only 300 or 400 feet of ice over here. And so the whole rest of the state of Washington is characterized by the kind of big hills of gravel that this lake would periodically dump out into the Columbia River Valley from this spot right here whenever those glacial walls failed and the kind of lake dam broke. So the lake that's right here is just a tiny little baby lake compared to its glacial maximum, which went well into Montana. I don't know how well it's going to come out on video, but what you're looking at, the kind of whitish gray, purplish gray in the sky, that's not, I'm seeing it too, I hope that the camera's picking it up. We're basically inside of this smoke cloud driving through it. Wow, that was a very low-flying bird doing his little bird thing. But yeah, all of this, we're headed due east, and the wind is blowing north and bringing all of this smoke up. Spokane, Washington. We're settling down for the evening. Beautiful high train bridge to the left, and then this other train bridge right here. We're cruising down I-95, I-90 here, coming through Idaho and Montana, and we're going through this mountain district of the northern Rocky Mountains. So this is the Wallace Formation. It's kind of a tannish, reddish rock, if we see any outcroppings. And this is some OG rock. This is some old school crust. It's Mesoproterozoic, which means that it's from the middle part of the super ancient rock eras, from 2.5 billion years ago to just about 1 billion years ago, or 1,000 million, as geologists like to talk about it. So this is some old school stuff. This rock is from 1.6 to 1 billion years ago, or 1600 MA to 1000 MA, and after it formed as crust, it didn't really get cooked anymore, so it has been kind of the same stuff over time, and recently, relatively recently, it is being pushed up into this mountain district. This rock was all underground, and it has been bent and shuffled and broken and thrown upwards like a bunch of cracked dishes in a big kind of flat dish sink. And that is what we're looking at. The reason all the mountains kind of look the same is because of a phenomenon called angle of repose. These rocks break in a characteristic manner, and the soil that they form ends up with a characteristic degree that it can kind of support sideways. So the slopes have kind of a maximum and a minimum, with some variation depending on kind of which way the broken dish plate is facing, because the rock itself has structural aspects and different planes of orientation, which might be exposed as a very erodible cliff face or a very unerodable cliff face, just depending. Part of the reason for the absolute beauty that you're seeing right now is that the air is kind of brisket smelling. It is got at least some amount of smoke from all of the wildfires, both British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. There's fires all over, and every place I've driven through for the last while has had fire preventative measures kind of all over the place, and with good reason. It's hot, it's dry, the world's changing. We changed it. Good morning. We're still in Butte, Montana. We're looking out at the Continental Divide right here. Now we're headed north. We're going to go up to I-94/I-90/I-15/ many other highway names, because there's only kind of the one road, so it takes all the numbers. We're going to go up over the gap, and we will be in the Mississippi watershed and drain out to the Gulf. Not too far from now. Here we are at the Continental Divide. Elevation 6,393 feet. When we crossed over last time, it was down in Colorado at a much higher elevation, but in either case, now I'm in the Mississippi, probably the Missouri River watershed, but ultimately the Mississippi River watershed. And rain that falls here is going to go to the Gulf of Mexico, not to the Pacific Ocean at all. Here we are. From 6,000 feet back there, it's about 2,000 miles, and I guess about 5,000 feet in elevation change. So just a gradual slope down to Pittsburgh. What a country. Here we enter the wide open prairie.